The Cringe-pocalypse of Dad. Gary was a fossil, and his kids, Aspen and Jackson, were the unwilling paleontologists forced to study him daily. Every morning, he'd drop them at school in his wood-paneled station wagon, lean out the window in his disco collar shirt, and yell, "Catch you on the flip side," for the whole world to hear. Aspen would sink so low in her seat she risked entering another dimension, while Jackson perfected the art of becoming invisible. "He's terminally uncool," Jackson groaned later, kicking a pebble on the sidewalk. "It's not groovy, it's just sad," Aspen nodded, her face a mask of teenage tragedy. "If I have to hear him say, 'Can you dig it?' one more time, I'm going to literally pass away. Why can't he just be, like, low-key?" That evening, a bored Gary picked up the family iPad. His finger, guided by fate and a questionable algorithm, landed on a video titled, "I lived in a slime pit for 24 hours. Gone wrong." He was captivated. The jump cuts, the obnoxious sound effects, the guy yelling about his merch. It was a revelation. A strange new energy began to buzz in Gary's boomer brain. The next morning, the kitchen was silent. Then he appeared. Gary stood before them in jeans, so tight they were screaming for mercy, an electric pink hoodie, and sneakers that looked like futuristic boats. He struck a pose and said, "Mornin', fam. This fit is straight fire, no cap." "What's the tea?" Aspen and Jackson stared, their spoons frozen over their cereal bowls. This was not their father. This was a glitch in the Matrix. The horror intensified. Gary decided he needed to quote his brand and attempted a TikTok dance in the living room. It was less of a dance and more of a full-body dry heave set to a 15-second sound clip. "It's giving main character energy," he grunted, nearly throwing out his back while trying to hit the gritty. The school drop-off was a nightmare sequel. Gary blasted some rapper who sounded like he was gargling gravel and leaned out the window. "8-bet, go be the goats. Don't let anyone catch you lackin'," he yelled. The entire student body turned to stare at the source of the cringe. Jackson seriously considered running into traffic. "He has to be stopped," Aspen whispered, huddled with Jackson in his room. "I miss him calling things the bomb. I miss his Grateful Dead shirts. I would give anything to hear him say groovy right now." Jackson nodded grimly. "We have to remind him who he is. We have to perform a vibe reversal." Their plan was simple, a full-scale boomer intervention. They unearthed his vinyl collection and blasted the Bee Gees. They found his high school yearbook and left it open on the coffee table, displaying a glorious photo of Gary with a haircut the size of a small hedge. They were creating a time warp in the living room. Gary shuffled in, scrolling through his phone. "This influencer life is a whole vibe," he muttered. Then the sound of "Stayin' Alive" hit him. His head snapped up. He saw the yearbook. He stared at the photo of his younger, cooler, wider-panted self. "Whoa," he whispered, his brain buffering. "That's righteous." The next morning, the house smelled of classic rock and questionable coffee. Gary entered the kitchen wearing a faded Zeppelin shirt and jeans that allowed for adequate circulation. He took a sip from his mug, looked at his children, and said, "What's the skinny?" "Don't have a cow, kids." Aspen and Jackson exchanged a look of pure, unadulterated relief. Their dad was back, and they'd never been so happy to be so completely and utterly embarrassed.